Hi, everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I will be explaining you how to name ionic compounds. First up, what is an ionic compound? An ionic compound is when a metal ion bonds with a non-metal ion. Metals form positive ions named cations, and non-metals form negative ions named anions. For naming, it's important to understand that when we have an ion with a negative charge, the original ending ends up being replaced by I. For example, here we have oxygen, but because it has a negative charge, oxygen will now be called oxide. Ionic compounds are always neutral, meaning that the total charge of a compound will always be zero. Here we have an ionic compound, but what is its name? Well, as we can see, sodium is a metal with a positive charge and chlorine is a metal with a negative charge. Knowing this, we just need to change the ending of chlorine to chloride, and sodium stays the same. So the name of this compound is sodium chloride, also known as table salt. Here are some other examples: lithium fluoride, potassium sulfide, and, why is this one different to the other examples? Don't you worry about it. This right here is called a polyatomic ionic compound. Poly stands for many, meaning that these compounds are made up of multiple ions. These here are the most common polyatomic ions, and as you can see, almost all of them have negative charges. I said almost all of them because there is just one exception, and the exception is ammonium. Naming polyatomic ionic compounds is pretty similar to naming regular ionic compounds, only the ending changes. Instead of "ide", the polyatomic ions will keep their names. Here we have the same example as before. The difference is that now we know how to name it. First, we name the cation, in this case barium. And using the list I gave you, identify the name of the polyatomic ion, which is hydroxide. And together they make barium hydroxide. Here are some unnamed polyatomic compounds. Try to name them before I do. Sodium carbonate, potassium acetate, and finally ammonium phosphate. Let's move on to ionic compounds with transition metals. Transition metals are located on groups 3 to 12 of the periodic table. These metals often have more than one charge, so that charge must be identified using a Roman numeral. For example, here we have manganese sulfide. And because manganese has 3 different charges, we must identify the one in this compound. To do that, pay attention to sulfur, and as we can see, sulfur has a little number to its right. This number is called a subscript, and it tells us the number of sulfur Fs that are needed to balance the compound. When we balance a compound, we need the same number of charges in both elements for the compound to be neutral. Using this information, we can tell how many charges manganese has, and the number is 3. First, we write manganese, then using the list of Roman numerals I showed you, we will identify the correct numeral for 3. Now we write the Roman numeral in parentheses next to manganese, and finally we name the nonmetal, in this case sulfide. Just like that, we now know the name of this compound. Here are some more examples: iron 2 chloride, copper 1 bromide, lead for bicarbonate. Remember to always write the ending of the nonmetal as I. And if it's a polyatomic ion, remember to use the list I gave you. That is all for today's video. If this video was helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next video, and thanks for watching.